telecom, power, infrastructure, financial services, entertainment, defense, and naval engineering. In total 7. These are all the industries that Anil Ambani was in before he became strong in at least one industry. So before building a moat around a single business, he spread himself across 7 industries. That's the original sin of Anil Ambani, a dangerous lack of focus. In the same time, Mukesh Ambani's main business was oil and gas. It was already decently solidified by his father Dhirubhai, and Mukesh Ambani further went deep into that business by expanding Jamnagar refinery. And that became the cash cow of Reliance Industries, and then Mukesh Ambani entered Reliance Retail and then Jio. Be it Google, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon and Reliance, these 5 companies have one thing in common. They have one monopoly product that gave them consistent profits and cash flows, which can be used to expand to other industries. Google had Google Search, Microsoft Windows, Meta had Facebook, Reliance had oil and gas. Once you have a monopoly business that gives you consistent profits and cash flow, it gives you the freedom to explore and expand to other businesses. Even if you fail with a new experiment, your core business will come to your rescue. Google dominated search, which gave them massive revenue and profits, so that they can work on projects like Waymo or DeepMind, and they can even absorb losses like Google Plus and Google Glass. Mark Zuckerberg wasted more than $50 billion in metaverse, but even then that didn't affect him because his core business, that is Facebook, is the dominant social media platform. But Anil Ambani never had a single strong business that gave him good profits and cash flow, but he expanded right away into 7 industries. Even Elon's first startup was Zip2. He sold it and then started X.com, which became PayPal. And after he sold PayPal, he began building Tesla and SpaceX. So the simple lesson is, focus on one thing, dominate it, and build a cash cow business before you expand or experiment with new things. You have to apply concentrated force on one thing and extract a lot of cash from that. Only then you can expand. And on top of this dangerous lack of focus, Anil Ambani was not technically sound enough in at least a single industry or business segment. In this context, I want to bring your attention to Andy Grove, the founder and former CEO of Intel. In 1995, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. He went into research mode. He studied as much medical literature as possible on that subject. He interviewed oncologists. He interrogated the data related to different types of treatments. And he himself decided what should be the treatment. And he literally wrote an article in Fortune magazine with the title, Taking on Prostate Cancer. Now just think about it. Medicine has nothing to do with his professional background, but still he researched it exactly like a doctor. Now imagine the level of research, technical depth Andy would have had on semiconductors. That is what technical mastery looks like. As an entrepreneur, technical mastery should actually be your personality trait. When we are not deep into a subject, at least on a theoretical level, how can we do business related to that subject? Anil Ambani had an MBA from Wharton University, so he had general business knowledge, but not technical knowledge on anything. So before you enter a business, research as much as possible, read as many books as possible, and surround yourselves with people who are experts in that subject. In India in 2000s, there used to be 2 types of mobile phones and 2 types of telecom networks. One that uses CDMA technology, the other one is GSM technology. Anil Ambani's telecom network was using CDMA technology, but then most mobile phone companies moved away from CDMA and adopted GSM. Anil Ambani still held on to CDMA. So most new mobile phones cannot use Reliance network. So most people switch to Airtel and Vodafone because they adopted GSM technology. Legacy car companies have fallen behind after Tesla came as an electric vehicle with advanced tech features. Google killed Yahoo because its search engine technology was ultimately superior. So being an entrepreneur means you should always be inventing superior technology or at least adopt it as fast as possible. By 2012, the combined debt of Anil Ambani's group companies had crossed 1.2 lakh crore, that is roughly $20 billion, whereas the total net profit of Anil Ambani's group was around 2,000 crores. Now compare that to Mukesh Ambani. The total debt of his companies at the same period was around 68,000 crore, but the net profit was around 17,000 crores. So Anil Ambani's debt was nearly double that of Mukesh Ambani, but his profits were nearly 10 times lower. So the financial model of Anil Ambani is a total red flag. Be it Big Bazaar, Byju's, WeWork, many famous corporate failures are due to massive debt accumulation without enough profits to back up. Now let's see how to successfully use debt. There is a thumb rule to use whether you have to take debt or not. If your revenue growth and cash flows are guaranteed, then you can go for debt. It will accelerate your business, which means you have already figured out the product market fit, there is consistent growth in your business, and you are already ahead of your competitors. If that is not the case, where your growth or profits or revenue is uncertain or it is not consistent but irregular, then debt is deadly. Another rule is, if you have to build infrastructure or factories or anything that is long term in nature, then you should not take short term loans. You should only take long term loans or bonds. You should take short term loans only when you can recover the money very fast. Another metric you have to use is interest coverage ratio. Imagine your EBITDA or profit is 10 lakh and you have taken a loan for which you have to pay 2 lakhs as annual interest. Now if you divide 10 by 2, you get 5. Anything above 3 is good. Whereas if the annual interest is 9 lakh, then 10 lakhs divided by 9 lakhs becomes 1.1, which is below 3. That is a bad thing. The higher this number, the better. Another metric is the net debt to EBITDA ratio. This ratio should be below 4. Above 4 is not healthy. The lesser the number, the better. We calculate this metric with the following formula: total debt minus cash in hand divided by EBITDA. Let's say your total debt is 200 crores and you have a cash of 50 crore in bank and your EBITDA is 100 crore. That becomes 150 divided by 100, which is 1.5, that is below 4. So this debt is good debt. If the number is above high, the higher it is, the more dangerous. There is another classic approach that is famous nowadays, which is simply taking money from investors and giving them equity. This way, even if your business fails, you don't have to pay anything. Elon Musk became a celebrity after he became successful at building Tesla and SpaceX. He was not a celebrity from day one. But whereas some entrepreneurs are drawn to the glamour of being seen as successful businessmen from day one. For Elon Musk, the fame came after the achievement. But for Anil Ambani, the fame preceded the achievement. He is famous from day one. But if you want to become a successful entrepreneur, you have to be a quiet but aggressive builder. Your only show off should be your business growth. Most successful entrepreneurs are always obsessed about things like knowledge, technology, problem solving, and execution, not publicity or validation. Anil Ambani was more close with Bollywood and politicians than business leaders or technology experts. Your network actually is a double-edged sword. If your network is filled with people who are celebrities, you will feel powerful, but that is a dangerous distraction. The reason American tech companies became so successful is because they are born out of intelligent and competent networks like Stanford, Harvard, and Silicon Valley in general. The same thing is happening in India, that most successful startups are coming out of IITs, IIMs, and Bangalore. But Anil Ambani was more interested in celebrity and political network building. That is actually counterproductive. So if your network is filled with people who are technology and business experts, that is a compounding advantage that works in your favor. Even you can see Mukesh Ambani is consistently partnering with the biggest tech giants in the world. Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and of late Nvidia also. So he is actively networking with the best in the world so that he can learn from the best. In 2008, Anil Ambani was ranked the 6th richest person in the world with a net worth of $42 billion. He was networking with the world's most powerful people. He signed a $1.2 billion deal with famous Hollywood director Steven Spielberg's DreamWorks. The aura of Anil Ambani back in those days was that he was invincible, that he was the face of new generation of Indian entrepreneurship. That is another lesson. Don't fall for hype or overly optimistic vibes. Don't celebrate too much. As Andy Grove says, only the paranoid survive. The moment you think you have won the game after some positive result, that's a trap. Elon Musk laughed at BYD, now it has beaten Tesla. Bhavish Agarwal was called the Elon Musk of India, now he is struggling. And there are 3 other lessons we have to learn from Mukesh Ambani. One is, you have to think in decades. Jio was conceived in mid-2000s. It was launched in 2016. That is 10 years of patience, 10 years of watching the market, and 10 years of building in silence. The number one strategy Mukesh Ambani uses is, he identifies a sector that is likely to become big in the next decade or so. So entrepreneurship happens in decades, not years. Next is aggressive and relentless execution. Be it Mukesh Ambani planning Jio much before he got the spectrum, opening 7 retail stores per day, and then continuous expansion, partnerships, acquisitions he made in the retail segment. Mukesh Ambani is aggressive and relentless. We have to do the same when we are running our company. And the final lesson is, always do it big. Mukesh Ambani built the world's largest oil refinery in Jamnagar. He built India's biggest retail infrastructure and then India's biggest telecom infrastructure. So commit yourself to do one thing as the ultimate thing that nobody else did before. That's how you become a big success. So this video ends the 3-part series on the Ambani family and the lessons we have to learn from them. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Dawn Unicorns for more videos on entrepreneurship. This is Deepak Lead signing off.